really a rectangle. And our next stop is coming up in front of the Imperial Theater, which was built in 1913, restored to its original grandeur in 1994, and is one of the most beautiful performing arts theaters in Canada. And the doors are open if you'd like to have a peek inside, but be aware that this stop is also shared by the R route. So when you get back on the bus, look for the A on the side of the bus if you wish to continue this tour. And another bus will be along in about 30 minutes. Those of a certain age will remember the name Walter Pidgeon, the famous Hollywood actor. He lived in St. John, and he actually made his debut at this theater, not as an actor, but as a singer. Two other famous Hollywood people lived in St. John: Louis B. Mayer and Donald Sutherland.
它就是走一圈的配古巴士，就是让你看风景的，你可以上去也可以下来，然后每1分钟是每一班是差30分钟，对。这个风景区还有人在去这样，风景区对，所以这个是蛮好，这个比较合适。啊，我们也不懂，因为我们昨天做那个，今天感谢主，因为今天这个城市所有的出去玩的那个全部都满了，只是这个没满，我们就登记这个事。
Well, she said they get those other buses out of the
Now, as we turn the corner here, you'll see the old number 2 engine house museum on the right. Unfortunately, that's closed today, but that building dates from 1840. It has the original pumper engine and artifacts from the Great Fire. It's obviously survived our Great Fire of 1877. Now this is the old county courthouse on the right. It has a unique spiral staircase, unsupported by pillar or post for 3 stories, built of 100 tons of Scottish stone.
这是他们法院盖的老法院盖得很好。
And on the left is the old Loyalist burial ground. This was considered outside the city back in 1783. The oldest stone dates from 1785. The Loyalists were very industrious, you know. They built our city within 2 years. We were incorporated in 1785. And as we turn the corner, you'll see the main fire department for the city, right behind the ancient one.
Very modern looking.
And just around the corner is our next stop at the Jewish Historical Museum, the only one in Atlantic Canada. It's right at the end of the block on the left-hand side here. Beautiful old building, once a private home, then a funeral home before being taken over as a museum. At one time we had about 300 Jewish families here, but now it's down to just about 30. For those who would like to get out here, another bus will be along in about half an hour.
犹太人
教堂，
的那个
教堂吗？
不是教堂，他放的犹太人的那个 museum 博物馆。
Notice the beautiful stained glass windows and doors, and look at that Tiffany-style lamp in the window on the right-hand side. what is interesting about this street is that all the houses on the right were destroyed in the Great Fire of 1877, and all the houses on the left survived. It's just the way the wind was blowing. But that was a devastating fire. It wiped out 2/3 of our city, killed 18 people, left 13,000 homeless. It started from sparks from a lumber mill igniting hay in the hay storage shed. We actually received a $25,000 check from Chicago to help us rebuild. And straight ahead of us is Courtney Bay, and on the other side of Courtney Bay you'll notice the largest oil refinery in Canada. The Irving Oil Refinery. Now we're headed towards low tide. It's interesting to see large ships there resting on the mud at low tide. And then 6 hours and 13 minutes later, there's 28 feet of water beneath them. We have another glimpse as we go along here of that refinery. Now they refine 300,000 barrels of oil a day. By the way, did you know that Canada supplies more oil to the United States than any other country? It's true. Now some of you may have noticed that one of our terminals is called the Marco Polo. And that is because the fastest sailing ship in the world was built right here in St. John, New Brunswick in 1851, called the Marco Polo. It was the first ship to circumnavigate the world in less than 6 months. 5 months and 21 days to be exact. And it could make a trip from St. John to Liverpool in about 15 days, which was pretty good for the mid-1800s. So in just a few seconds, I'm going to show you the exact spot where the ship was built and launched. But you know, at one time, the St. John area had 24 active shipyards. Imagine. We were turning out, launching an average of 2 ships every single week. Now here it is. If you look on the right-hand side of that building that has the navy blue stripe at the top, that is where the ship was built. Try and picture a large 3-deck wooden sailing ship. And it got stuck in the mud for 2 weeks. Now here's an interesting fact for you. If you were driving on the right, you would be in Halifax, Nova Scotia in a little over 4 hours. On the left, you would be in Calais, Maine in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now just ahead of us on the corner there on the left, you'll see the entrance to the public gardens. That's where we grow all the flowers for the city. But coming up is our next stop, and this is a real gem in the city. Rockwood Park, 2,200 acres, one of the largest municipal parks in Canada, designed by the son of the designer of Central Park in New York City. But you could fit 3 Central Parks in this area. What can you do here? Well, there's walking trails. You can rent a pedal boat, a canoe, a kayak, a mountain bike. And there's a lovely cafe called Lily's Cafe right on the waterfront of Lily, which we will see in just a few seconds. So here's Lily Lake straight ahead of us. And you know, there are actually 13 lakes in this park. Isn't that amazing? Right in the city center. Anyone who would like to get out here, another bus will be along in about 30 minutes.
果我们下来的话30分钟，会有另外一个巴士来接我。我不要下来了。
不要下来。
对，不下来，没时间。
把这个带回去就好了。
啊？
把这个带回去就好了，都走过了嘛。可以看下来。
没有，
他要走了吗？
没有，已经有人下来啊。
那我就不关。
不关掉。
对啊，就不关啦，不关他还要停下来。
好。下来之后才没下车。
You know, that lake was the source of our first water supply for the city, and history took place there back in 1926 when Charles Gorman, a local man, won the World Speed Skating Championship. And he did it with shrapnel in his leg. He served in the First World War.